Welcome to the Shades of Grey podcast with Dr. John Gray, New York Times bestselling author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And now, Dr. John Gray.
Welcome, everybody. Today's a really important talk for people who want to be in loving, lasting relationships, people who are already in loving, lasting relationships, but they like to kick up the passion, feel the attraction that you felt in the beginning. And so I'm going to talk about today 5 hidden enemies of passion. This is what keeps couples from having passion today. And let me point out that it's possible that I've experienced it in my life for 32 years, 34 years with my wife, Bonnie. She passed on. And once again, I'm happily married. I know what the enemies of passion are, and they make life so much better because then you feel this attraction. It doesn't go away. Months can pass, years can pass, and you still experience the attraction between you and your partner. It's not all the time. See, you have to rebuild the charge, and then the attraction happens. And then you enjoy your life. You have the comfort zone. Life is comfortable. That's actually not one of the official of the 5 hidden reasons, but it's your comfort zone. That when you go into comfort, serotonin, dopamine crashes, you lose motivation. It's just a natural thing. It happens. Desire goes away when you're too comfortable. And I'm not against comfort. See, I have a very comfortable life. I take my cave time. I have my work. I have my time with my wife, my family, and she understands that. You know, it's like I was just doing a wonderful podcast with Dave Asprey. It just came out yesterday. I recommend everybody go online to Dave Asprey's podcast on YouTube. And you'll get more information. It was a wonderful interview. Dave asks great questions, brings out another part of me. But the whole idea there that Dave was asking is, well, if you're practicing John Gray technique and you're asking a woman questions and you're being a good listener, which is how to talk, women, how to talk so a man will listen, is you tell him if it's anything, to start training him to learn how to listen to a woman without feeling like I have to solve your problems, I have to fix you, or I have to get defensive and argue with you, or I have to tell you how not to feel. These are all reactions all men will have. And sometimes men read Men Are From Mars and they get it, but most don't fully get it, okay? And at times, you know, basically when there's stress in the relationship, that's when men can't get it, because women will do when there's stress in her life or the relationship, she'll complain to him. And then he'll have to defend himself. If you complain about a man, you'll have to defend yourself. And I say, you just have to listen to a woman. Her estrogen will go up, her stress will go down. And that, of course, stress is going to be one of the enemies of passion. But it's actually one of the ways you create passion in your relationship. But let me just address what he was asking. At a certain point, he got personal about, well, what do you do when she says, when you're listening, and she says, well, how do you feel? And what's going on inside of you? And if you read my book, women, you won't ask that question. You will think, see, women have this thought that if you share your feelings, that a man has to say stuff. If he has to say stuff, he can't listen to you because he's constantly thinking, what's my response going to be? And his response will be, what any man's response will be, why would you feel that way? You shouldn't feel that way. You should do this and you should do that. And then it negates the benefit of him listening to you. So while women will complain that men don't listen, they don't understand, women don't understand how to benefit from a man in your life if you want to sustain passion. And certainly one of the enemies of passion in relationships, although I have 5 and I haven't gotten to them yet because I'm still thinking about Dave and his response. It's like, well, you know, I'm a good listener. I listen to her. Then she says, what are you feeling? And what's going on inside of you? And what are you thinking? And then as soon as you say it, now there's an argument. It's always an argument. This is why couples argue. Or you just say, I don't have anything to say other than I hear you, I care about you, I love you. If you or something nicer, I give some phrases in my new book that you can tell men to say. It's one is, you do so much for so many people. Let me give you a hug. I really love you. I care about you. I understand what you're going through. It's just simple like that. You have to give him the words to say. He doesn't know what to say. All he knows what to do is tell you you're getting upset over nothing, because in his world, you are getting upset, overly upset compared to him. And we've covered this in our talks, which is biologically in the brain, under moderate stress. A woman's talking about what's bothering her. Her body produces much more emotion than his body. Under moderate stress, men's emotions decrease, women's emotions increase, and that's proven in the brain. And why she needs to talk about it is if she doesn't talk about what's bothering her, her brain will ruminate and she'll continue feeling that. And that, of course, is an obstacle to passion. Ultimately, stress is an obstacle to passion. However, if when you're stressed, women, you use a man to lower your stress, and I'm telling you how to do that. If you feel I'm stressed in my relationship, then you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to use a man. Women think men have to be girlfriends. And of course, you do need girlfriends in your life to lower your stress. It's very important that you share what's going on in your life in a way with another woman who fully understands what you're going through. What a man can understand is that you have emotions. Only thing he can understand is if you're feeling sad, you're disappointed, you're frustrated, you're mad, you're embarrassed. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in and sharing this with everybody. When you're sharing emotions, every man can relate to emotions. We have emotions. We can relate to emotions 100% if we're not feeling blamed. If we feel blamed in any way by your emotions or what your story is, if we're getting the message that we're not good enough and we've failed you or whatever and you want to change us, any of that, men's mirror neurons close down. And when his mirror neurons close down, blood flow stops to the emotional part of the brain. So you're not going to get connection. What you need is connection. You need him to feel what you feel. Other women have to provide that. That's a different vitamin. You have to talk to other women. You don't have to share emotion. You can just say there was so much traffic on the bridge, and other women go, I know it too. It's so frustrating. But they don't have to say it's so frustrating. They just have to say I know it too. My wife says, wow, there was so much traffic on the bridge today. To me, it's so what? There's traffic on the bridge every day. What's the big deal? It's like I don't have an emotional reaction to that. I just rationalize it. Men rationalize things. And therefore, we're not going to immediately endorse what you're feeling unless you share an emotion. If you share an emotion, like I was so frustrated on the bridge today, just occasionally identify an emotion. And women think they're that they have so much emotion in terms of being emotion. Oh, you can be emotion, but if you want a man to feel your emotion, you have to identify, I felt so frustrated today, and then tell the story. And it was disappointing to me, and then tell the story. But bring emotion, owning your emotion, instead of just being emotional. Because when you be emotional, what's going to happen is a man's always going to think you're overreacting because you're designed to have stronger emotion than men. Men will relate to emotion because we have emotion in our lives. It's just we don't talk about it, hopefully. Now you get these guys who want to talk about their emotions all the time because psychology has told men to do that. Another enemy of passion, big enemy of passion, is as soon as a man starts talking about his emotions, women just start treating like a child. In the beginning, they like it. A lot of women go, oh, I like a man who, I remember this one gay lesbian woman came on one of my talks and says, well, I like it when he shares his feelings. Yeah, why aren't you with a man then? But there's a certain category of women where they want a man to share his emotions, and that's just from her insecurity. And what she wants to know is that you're feeling love towards her, you're feeling empathy towards her, you're feeling understanding towards her, you're not hating her, you're not rejecting her, you're not putting her down. And men will think you're partially crazy. And what I mean by partially crazy is a fun word. It's not like you're diagnosed as borderline. Okay, this is a thing. And many men who know the word borderline, just as women know the word narcissist for men, you label people, it's really not a good thing. But men who know the word, it's like every woman I meet is borderline. Borderline crazy is what that means. No, it's not a technical term. It's just irrational. Now, if you want to know the source of irrationality, it's no dysfunction on a woman's part. It's that if you measure the science of her brain when she experiences moderate stress. Moderate stress is where there's danger, but she feels, I have support. I have support to help me. So there's danger, I have support to help me. When she feels there's danger and I have no support, now she makes cortisol, high stress. So there's danger and it's all up to me. I have no help. You produce cortisol. Danger, but I have help to deal with it, so I'm safe. that's going to produce adrenaline. But there's danger. You face adrenaline. And when women have adrenaline, what occurs is blood flow stops, okay, stops from the prefrontal cortex of the brain to the emotional part of the brain. So she is going to overreact. She's going to be less reasonable. She's going to think just about one thing rather than the bigger picture. She's going to be focused on negativity rather than see the whole the positivity. And when a man sees that, it looks like you're crazy. No, so I have to be playful with it, and women need to really ideally buy into this and admit, honey, sometimes I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm just processing my emotions. And if you really understood your brain, you wouldn't be so defensive about your emotions. It's like once you get defensive about your emotions, my feelings are facts. Well, it's a fact that you feel that way. But if you feel angry that he's a jerk, he's not a jerk. But you need to feel that inside. So you share that with a girlfriend. You don't share that with him because he's going to explain to you, what do you mean I'm a jerk? How can you say that? Or, we start condemning our partners. We start putting our partners down in our minds. It doesn't matter. You do it out loud or in your mind, it's still going to affect him and shut him down, and the passion is gone. These are the enemies of passion. So learning how to communicate so a man listens is to do the Venus talk, which I explain in this book, which is how to communicate feelings and emotion about other things and not your partner, and letting them know with a signal. Venus talk, put two hands up, and that's a signal. No verbal even message, let's do a Venus talk. Just put two hands up. Why? Because when you need to do a Venus talk, you're feeling stressed. And as soon as you're feeling stressed, a man gets the message that it's his fault. It's his fault. Because, we know the saying, when a woman is happy, everybody's happy. That means when the woman is happy, a man is very happy because he feels successful in being a provider for the person he cares most about. It's our nobleness. But when women's not happy, that's why men die. That's why their testosterone crashes. That's why they have no energy in the relationship. That's where the passion diminishes. So it's not like you have to be happy all the time. You just have to use him to be happy. Use him to be happy. Don't use him as a hitting board. I don't know the word for it, but you use him. There's some expression for that to justify your negative emotions. Don't use your partner to justify your negative emotions. If you want to have an enlightened relationship, if you're not going to have an enlightened relationship, you're going to fall apart. Maybe you could be comfort the rest of your life. That's okay. Some people are satisfied with that. They die early. They get sicknesses and whatever because you're suppressing your feelings. You're being comfort. You're not asserting yourself. You're not growing in love. And then women, when I say that, well, he's not doing anything. He doesn't have to do personal growth. What he has to do is learn how to help you, and you have to do, as women, personal growth. It's subjective. Your nature is always to improve, to become better, to love more. That's your nature. That's why you're so resentful of men, because they're just not focused on that. They're focused on achieving goals. And their main focus in a marriage is to achieve the goal of helping you be happy. But happiness is an inside job, and what a man really can do is help you find your happiness inside, but not expect him to change for you to be happy. We all have to learn. I've had so many terrible things happen to me. Terrible things are happening to me right now even. And I have to learn how to be happy in spite of that. I have to learn to love in spite of that. I have to learn to continue putting myself out there and doing what I have to do. I desire a light and fun relationship. I love that you say that, because so many times women get caught up into what I don't want instead of what I do want. You're the manifestors. You can create what you want, and you don't look to a man to do it all. You look to you to take responsibility for negativity inside of you. Anytime you're negative, you're going to get that from a man. It's as simple as that. Now, a lot of you have read about, the law of attraction, I forget her name, but she's a friend of mine from a long time ago, before she was famous and everything. No, it's not Rhonda. Rhonda Burns did the book, but she was copying the other lady who wrote a wonderful book called The Law of Attraction, and she's the one who really popularized it. It's been around a long time, okay? But it's even Rhonda Burns' book was actually a ripoff of an earlier book from the early 1900s, but it was out of copyright. Yeah, it was complete ripoff. I know the publishers and everything, they had to check it out to make sure they weren't going to get sued. But there is a place where after the author dies and a certain amount of time passes, thank you for joining me. Esther Hicks, okay, Tess. Esther Hicks, wonderful woman, wonderful woman. And it used to be, well, we were friends. Now she's off doing her thing. I'm off doing my thing, but we have a relationship from a long time ago. And Esther really helped. She was doing channeling, and helping people understand her lane. Her lane was just basically one idea. It wasn't practical for life, but it was in a certain sense, it's very practical. But you have to still do stuff. You have to. Power of attraction is you attract opportunities. That's your feminine energy that attract opportunities, and your male side has to make use of those opportunities. And so it's all about being positive and believing. It's about having faith. And that's all. It's about trust, trusting that what you want is going to continue coming into your life. And you have the ability to process that. Now, in the beginning, when she was teaching until she had dinner with me, I was just saying, you can't ignore the fact that people have negative emotions. That's why she asked me when she's processing people, why don't they cry? And I said, because you're just focusing on the positive emotions. You have to realize that always what's holding us back from manifesting is her message, it was, you're not believing. Well, when you're not believing, what's the symptom that you're not believing? You have belief systems that block you from receiving more in your life. What are those belief systems? How do you know what your belief systems? How can your conscious mind go in and remove those limited beliefs? The only way that I have found that does it is basically feeling stress, and biology, science backs me up on this. You cannot change your brain wiring after 7 years old, or maybe a little bit after up to puberty. But after that, you're not going to change your belief systems. You can say, oh, I'm a wonderful, loving person, and then you still get afraid, you still get unhappy, and then she'll say, well, you're afraid and unhappy, you're doubting, so that's keeping you from doing it. Yeah, it is, but it's not just a choice. You can choose to do the things, the work necessary to change your beliefs. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by feeling the net first. You can't change anything till you realize you're creating it, you're doing it. So what are you doing when you have a negative belief? What is that belief causing in your body? It's causing negative emotions. So if you can feel your negative emotions and you can let go of them with love, but you can't just feel one negative emotion, generally speaking, if you're stressed, and let it go. Because anytime you're producing stress hormones, what's going to happen is your body will have 4 levels of emotion. And the first one you can feel if you can articulate an emotion. Some women just keep talking about, why does he do this? And he doesn't do that. And why could he do this? And I do so much. And I've done this for him. And why does he? You get into this head space, you're not going to change anything. You're just justifying your unhappiness. You are responsible for your unhappiness. And when you're not responsible for your unhappiness, you make a man responsible for your unhappiness, and that will kill the passion. Blame kills passion. So this is I know it's a tough thing to go, but look, we're all enlightened people here. Don't we all believe that we're responsible for our life? If you have a business and nobody's buying your product, what do? You got to market your product. And how do you market your product? You do tests to see, is what I'm doing working? And if what I'm doing isn't working, what's the solution? Just blame the client? No. Look at yourself. Change within yourself. And, it's tough to hear what I have to say. I get it, because it's called personal responsibility. And if you don't have love, you have to have love to say, even though I make mistakes, even though I'm ignorant, even though I don't know what to do, I still love myself, so I can look at that. That's the blessing of men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's like we just don't know. It's like a child. You can't blame a child for being upset if they don't understand a situation. They're panicking. I don't understand. I don't know what's going to happen. Why are they treating me this way? Now they love me one day, they don't love me another. I don't understand. Well, you can't blame them for their tears and their crying and so forth. You can't say to a child, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to leave. If you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. If you keep crying, I'm going to go out of the room. I can't hear it anymore. Why can't you hear that child crying? Why do you resist that? Because there's a child inside of you that's still crying and needs to be heard with love and patience and empathy and understanding. But if you resist your child from crying, the child's going to cry more. And you have to learn to embrace. Now, that's what men have to learn to do. What I'm teaching men is when your wife is upset, when she's bothered and whatever, contain your mirror of what she's feeling. Men will always mirror what you're feeling until then the mirror neurons shut down. If they feel blamed, then the mirror neurons shut down, and then they will become just like you, but not feeling like I'm feeling what you're feeling. He will become just like you. If you blame him, he will blame you. If you reject him, he will reject you. If you criticize him, he will criticize you. It's the most powerful way, if you want to justify the idea of a power of attraction. The power of attraction is basically you're always attracting to you situations that mirror what you're feeling inside, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. This is Jay saying, my mom said that when we were kids, if you don't behave, I'm leaving. Scared the kid. Just makes them more upset. This is like the lunacy. People don't understand. A child is crying. What you do is you say nothing, particularly his first 7 years. You say nothing. You just look at them with love and compassion, and they'll reach their hands up and they want to be held. That's why they're little, so you can hold them. And then you stay calm, and they'll hear that you're calm, and they'll naturally come back. Their body will learn how to move from stress, terror. You have no idea how terrorized children are. They don't understand the world. They don't have the words for it. They're screaming. Oh my God, they're in terror. And so what you do is you are not in terror. You just hold that. They resonate with you. Children resonate with you. Men will resonate with their partners if you're having sex. And if you're having sex, in the beginning, that's all great. You've got the passion there. And then when a woman begins to shut down, he will begin to shut down his feelings. We just are mirrors. It's like we are the perfect place to see what you get in your life. One woman says, do I deserve this? Now, this is tough to hear. You deserve whatever you get, and you deserve more, okay? You deserve whatever you get because you're creating it, and you deserve more. And how do you get more? By changing who you are. If I'm talking to women and men, how do you get more in your relationship with a woman? Is what you do is learn the basic skills of how to listen, how to work hard. You work hard, you build your testosterone up, not depending on your partner to build your testosterone, depending on your partner's happiness to make your testosterone go higher. So you have to have a separate life from her that makes you feel good about yourself, where you're making a difference with other people. And based on what you're making a difference, you're not then looking to her for approval so much. You don't become needy for her approval. You already feel good about yourself, and you feel so good about yourself that you can handle the times when your wife, her wave, women will go up and they'll think everything's fine, and then they'll crash down. They do. And men go, why does this keep coming up again and again? It will always come up. You'll just get better at dealing with it, men. And when you're better at dealing with it, then it'll be easier and faster for her to come back up. But it's like, think about a wave. It comes down. We're trying to talk her out of being upset. Just, be present with her. Don't judge her. Don't criticize her. Don't try to talk about anything. Try to dodge any blame so you don't take it on. But ideally, women, you got to train a man today. You got to do the work. You got to let him know what you want. Women expect men to know what they want. Men expect men to read my book, to do this thing. That's not most men's thing. And thanks, Jewel. What men's thing is, I need to make money to provide for my wife. Didn't realize men are mirrors, just completely mirrors. That's the whole idea. When mom's happy, dad's happy. Everybody's happy. We mirror mom. She's the source of creation. She gave birth to all of us. It's the feminine energy, and the feminine energy is receptive, it's loving, it's emotional. And when it's negative emotions, that means she needs help. And so what you do is you help. But for women today, they're not so dependent on men as they used to be. It used to be I just had to make money. The man used to have to make money and not get angry at his wife, and that was all the help women needed. They had other women helping them all the time. My parents would threaten us to send us into foster care. Yeah, not a good thing. I laugh about this, and I did it as a joke, but maybe I have shame around it. But I remember one time I married Bonnie, and she had 2 little children, and eventually we learned how to raise the kids without punishing them, because that's how I was raised. But, the kids would start to act, they'd go like wasn't listening to her, and then she would just scream really, really loud, and they would all become very quiet, okay? That's how she controlled them. She just screamed really, really loud. And I said, there's another way to do this. But she was a screamer. Her parents were screamers and whatever. So garbage in, garbage out. I've told the story when my little 6-year-old, Lauren, we were at a resort, and she was saying, my dad wrote Men Are From Mars to some person. I wasn't there. And the person said, well, your dad's an idiot. And Lauren came home to the condo we were staying in Hawaii, and she she came back and she looked at me and she was really mad. I still can see the picture because it was so out of the normal. And she was mad at me and she said, "Daddy, you're an idiot." And I said, "What's an idiot?" She says, "I don't know, but you're an idiot." And then I heard the story. This lady said she was an idiot. But put garbage in, garbage comes out. And it's in there. It's programmed in there. And today we're going to learn a bit about changing that program. But you can't, according to science, you cannot change the program in your brain for your brain to become plastic again, brain plasticity. As children, we have brain plasticity. We're formed. Our belief systems are formed by duplicating our parents. And then we can rebel against it. We can do this, but it keeps coming up, and we wonder why is it we get triggered in our relationships. So what happens, and get all upset with our partners and blame them to justify our emotions. Yes, my partner did something bad. Okay, now I have these strong emotions. Well, what are you going to do about it? You're just going to stop loving your partner because they made a mistake. You're going to punish them. You're going to hold your love. You're going to get mad at them. You're going to justify what you feel based upon what your partner said or did. They triggered it. Yes, they're a part of it. It's the 90-10 principle. They did something wrong. It's 10% of the upset. 90% is you. And 90% is your suppressed emotions. 90% is your suppressed childhood, repressed from childhood. You overreact to things. And men overreact to things too. But men's trigger to get overreacted, and we do, is in response to you're the trigger. You're the only trigger for a man, bottom line, the big trigger. And of course, he's the big trigger for you. There's no doubt about that. He does something wrong. So you get triggered, but whenever you're triggered, you don't have to do anything wrong to trigger a man. You just have to be triggered. When you're triggered, a man will become completely triggered. Does he need to process his childhood? No. He just needs you to process your trigger, come back to love, and let him know, "I'm so sorry I was triggered and I gave you a hard time. I love you." That's it. And whatever triggered you, don't talk about it. And then she'll say, "Well, if I don't tell him what he did wrong, how's he going to change?" That's called don't try to change a man. But instead, my parents didn't allow us to cry. We were made wrong for crying. Absolutely. It's annoying because parents don't know how to deal with their own stuff. Their children will bring it up. If you have kids, it brings up your stuff. If you have sex, it brings up your stuff. Because when women feel safe, sex means you feel safe, then what happens is any time in your life where you didn't feel safe, the emotions that were repressed at that time, the beliefs that are linked to that repressed emotion, like I can't cry, I can't share my feelings, it's not safe, people will judge me. It's like even today, I watch people when they start to cry, they put their hands over their face, or they say, "I'm sorry, I cried." No, every man needs a woman to cry because it's the only way men can fully open their mirror neurons and feel their heart. See, when a woman is vulnerable and pain and he's not being blamed, that allows his heart to open. And bottom line, when she then receives that, her beliefs start to change as well, that it's safe for me to express how I feel. You just have to learn what is safe. It's not safe to blame your partner. And if your partner did something, made a mistake, then once you've healed that, when you come back to not justifying him, blaming him for how shocked you are, how upset you are, whatever. Yeah, he shocked you. He upset you. This happens. Women start to open their heart and then men make some dumb mistake. He forgets to give her to do something, or he spends money, didn't tell her about it, whatever it is, or he spends time with his friends, ignores you, he's working too hard, or whatever it is that you're upset with him about, or he got mad at you and now you're shutting down. Okay, well, that's your issue. And most women would have that. That's not even about your childhood. That's about being a woman in a world which has always been dangerous for women. And if a man expresses anger, it's going to trigger you. It's going to bring up all of your insecurities. So this is your moment to bring those back, to learn to read my books, to realize how you as women can diffuse a man's anger. One of my clients, she's always feeling suppressed about anger. She has to always be nice and positive because she's terrified of her partner being angry. Well, why is his partner angry all the time? Another one of the 5 hidden reasons of passion is she is constantly suppressing her emotions. See, when you suppress your emotions, it doesn't stop him from feeling them. If you're suppressing even the act of having to suppress your emotions in front of your partner, you're saying to him very clearly, "I'm really upset and I can't talk to you because I can't trust you. You're a failure to me. You're not good enough for me and I can't be myself around you." And you're not saying those words. That's what your feelings are doing. They're having that impact on him. Other people don't notice it because they're not connected emotionally because you've had sex. So sex brings up this sort of link. Once you have sex with a guy, whatever you suppress goes right into him, and he mirrors it. And the act of suppressing your feelings actually says to a man, you're not safe, as opposed to having the understanding, if I'm upset with him, you don't have to suppress your feelings. You just have to be aware, oh, I'm upset with him. I don't need to talk to him about it. I need to talk to somebody else about it. Now you're not suppressing. Now you're not walking around going, gee, I can't talk about my feelings because my partner. No, nobody can talk about their feelings if they're blaming. It's not like too bad or poor me or, oh, I can't be myself. No, you can do it. You have to find the appropriate place to do it. Oh, that's Helena. She's letting everybody know how you can, if you have any questions for the shows, whatever, you can contact her. Ken's company is gonna start producing John Gray seminars again in America. I have promoters all over the world who produce these seminars for me, but not in America. I used to, but then I just got so many offers from around the world, I stopped doing America. Well, Ken is going to do America. So he's going to start producing weekend seminars. So if people are interested, you think you'd like to do, they're not going to be weekend. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all the way late into the evening on Wednesday and Thursday, and then half a day on Friday so people can catch planes to get back to where they want to go. And so we're looking forward to doing that. And so if you're interested in doing that, not that you're signing up or anything, just put in a 1. That'll be fun to hear. And give him some encouragement because he's going to do these things. So having said that, we're going to do that. So we're going to do a VIP club. Everybody who's like doing VIP clubs where people can, get ongoing support with me. We're going to have that as well. But you guys, also get ongoing support with me here too. So it's not like I'm withdrawing myself unless people take my courses. A lot of people do that. I don't. I give you my best stuff. I give you my best books. But I want to make sure you know that just hearing me, thank you, Mariah, just hearing me goes in, but reading is very important because then you have to regurgitate the words. Now people say, oh, you got to hear it. You already hear it here. You need to read. People stop reading. But what happens when you read is then you really duplicate. And when you hear me, you go passive. It's good. They're getting transmission. I know many of you love to hear me talk. I love to hear me talk too because it's just pure. It's pure wisdom flows through without a doubt. And yeah, go ahead. Ken's there. Go ahead. He wants to come in and say something.
I just have to say that, we had this discussion the other day, and I said, John, people ask in-depth questions that you just can't get to on a podcast like this. So I think we should start having events. And you were like, I used to do events. And I'm like, well, let's start doing them again. And so we're going to start doing these in-person events. And I can promise you this, John and I have become very good friends, and being able to have conversation with you and experience that the wisdom, the brilliance that comes out of you in personal situations for me. It's like the entire world needs John Gray for a couple of days in their life. I mean that. Like it's incredible. It's different in person. We've hung out in person as well. It's completely a different experience, and it's life changing. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Drop a 1, the number 1, like Mariah did, the number 1 in the comments if that is something that you would be interested in attending, and we'll make note of it, and we'll be announcing more in the upcoming weeks. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. So here we're going to go into. I set my goal. I'm going to be the 5 hidden enemies of passion. I haven't even gotten to them, but they're kind of in here. So let me label those for those who are waiting to write down the 5 the 5 enemies, and then we'll continue talking about it. Thanks, Gazelle. So one is prolactin. Okay, prolactin blocks sexual attraction. It's as simple as that. If you are in a committed relationship, your body makes more prolactin. Now, if you're like a single guy and you notice you had sex with a girl and then afterwards you're not that interested in coming back and having sex again, that's prolactin. It numbs the lust inside of you. Okay, there's if you're married and you find you have sex and afterwards you're not really interested in sex for a while, that's the refractory period where you just not that interested in sex until you are. Okay, that's prolactin. And nature provides this for men to have small amounts of prolactin if you're not in a committed relationship. So you'll go out and find another woman. So you'll get horny again, and you'll go out and find. Thanks, Hilda. You're gonna go out and find another woman. Okay, so if this woman you didn't commit to her and make the prolactin, then what's happening is your body says, well, I still want another woman. I still want another woman. I still want this interferes with that passion, and that desire is prolactin. Now, that's what happens. It's inevitable in marriage, but you can overcome it. The way you overcome it is you create polarity. So the first thing, this is inevitable, that's the first hidden enemy of prolactin is and it only happens when you're in a committed relationship. That means you're together with a woman, you get to know her, you love her, you become devoted to her, you commit to her, you spend time with her, she becomes your partner in life. That the more that happens, the more prolactin gets produced to keep you from going out and finding another woman. Isn't that smart? It's God's monogamy hormone to stay monogamous with your partner. But at the same time, it wasn't intended if God had an intention. The intention is that you'll still have sex, okay? You got to make a lot of babies, okay? So you're still going to have that attraction. But why is it we don't have attraction once prolactin sets in? We lose our attraction to other women, and women lose their attraction to other men as well. Women also leave their husbands. 40%, 80% of divorces is women. So, it's that being satisfied with your partner. That's what prolactin does. It creates a comfort zone in your relationship. But that comfort zone is a lot of serotonin, ease, comfort, no desire. And we want to have desire. And of course, this happens in other areas too, where men, they get comfortable, they lose their motivation to achieve, they lose their motivation to create romance. Women say, why did he lose his motivation? He must not love me. No, it's because he loves you so much. He loves you so much, the prolactin gets produced. Well, what happened to all the motivation? The motivation goes away because the second enemy of passion is lack of polarity. You see, historically, men were men. Women didn't accept men unless men were men. Now, men don't have the high testosterone that men used to have. It's just like completely cut off, cut down. And of course, what caused that? That's not one of the hidden reasons. That's just logic. Why is men's testosterone so low? Feminism. As soon as women started becoming men, men are out of work. The only way a man can have testosterone is to feel that he's needed and he's not being blamed. Men used to be heroes. We were the noble ones. And we had to earn our way. Women didn't just take any man. You had to be a man who's willing to provide for her, committed to her, and all this stuff. Now we got all this wishy-washy, we'll see how it goes, and don't plan for the future, no goal, no commitment. This is all this wishy-washy society, which then goes into do what you like, instead of do what's right, do what produces results, do what makes society better, do what makes the world a better place, do what makes your children have a better life. Lack of polarity. Number 2 is the enemy of passion. So number 1 is prolactin, which creates your comfort zone. Prolactin is God's monogamy hormone. Thanks, Kate. These are all good. Listed them out. Okay, so you got prolactin, you get polarity. Now let's go a little deeper into polarity, because not everybody watches all my shows, so I have to be a little repetitive here. So we have new people coming in every time. Our numbers are getting better because you're sharing this with other people, and I thank you so much. So the young woman, okay, is going to feel more attraction to her partner in the beginning when she's young. When she's young in her life, she's going to feel more attraction because her body automatically makes estradiol. Estradiol is the hormone that says, I need help. Now, see, what feminism did is say, women, you don't need men's help. You can do it all yourself. You get all the freebies now. The government has programs for women that are this thick. The volume is this thick of programs for women. The volume for men is this thick. Go into the army and you might get health care at the end. Okay, so basically, we went through a big push because women were not getting their rights. And so that was good. We had a big, but we didn't do it in a balanced way. We just went over to women, and then we have to, every board has to have a number of women, and everything has to be women. And so there's a positive to that, which is women are developing their male side, which when you know that you can take care of yourself without a man, then that frees you from the fear of depending on a man. In case he does leave you, you have the power to leave him. Or if he's not a good guy, you have the power to lead him. So there's a benefit to this. I see evolution happening. Women are developing their male side, but to the exclusion of, and the lack of awareness of, and lack of ability to, and the skills to come back to your female side. Feminism doesn't know that. All they said is you threw women out into the workplace, and now you become another man. And then house prices go up, economy's ruined, everything like that. So a lot of devastating effects from that. And then you have the additional devastating effect, which we will do a show on this. If you write this down, it's Mars-Venus solution for strong, independent women, because they're alone. They're feminists. They're out there they're making more money than the men. They're all over the place. And they got nice cars, they got houses, they got money, but they don't have a man. What went wrong? What's going wrong? And then in marriages where the woman makes more money than the man, we look at it practically. He'll stay home and take care of the children because she's making more money. She's going to resent him. Women need to feel taken care of, period. And if they're out there working, he needs to be out there working as well. Or if he's going to stay home, there's a whole nother dynamic, and that would be some of the issues that come up with strong, independent women. But whether single or in a marriage, it creates all kinds of new problems. And clearly, it is one of the hidden enemies of passion. Okay, these couples, my most fun story about this is watching the women on The View. And women are not men, and it's so annoying how much power women want. I feel like they scare men away. Absolutely. And actually, scare is not the exact word that men won't relate to, because they're not always in touch with their feelings anyway. But deep down in the unconscious, it would be the fear of failure. Why is it the fear of failure? Because she's so independent, she doesn't need him. So why should I spend time at a job that won't pay? So it's very logical. So I don't think men are even aware of that fear. The fear is there only when they're triggered. If they're not triggered and he's just going, I'm not interested in these women, it's because he's not. It's like job opportunity. Here's a job opportunity and it pays nothing. I'm not going to go for that job. I'm going to go for the job that's going to pay the most with the least amount of effort. Okay. And so I want a woman who appreciates a man, who trusts a man, and who makes it easy for me to make her happy. So this is the great thing, women. If you can take care of yourself for those things, then what do you need a man for? What you need a man for is to help you come back to your female side, which to me is the easiest job in the world. Once you understand, women, how to let a man know how to help you, but you've got to know how to be helped. As long as you're blaming him and you're not taking responsibility, he can't help you. So I can tell men to do this stuff. It can help if you let him help, but you have to know what kind of help you need. And he doesn't even have to hear it from me, really. What he needs is for you to tell him, but how to communicate so he'll hear it. You do it from the point of view that I need your help. You don't understand this. I get that. And you're wonderful. And you do all these wonderful things for me. And here's some important things I need. Now, how to do that in detail with examples and everything, you read the book for that. You have to go through, you have to read it, and you have to go, well, I couldn't say it exactly that way, but I could say it like this, whatever. Find your way. But it's a lesson. There's 6 books. This is 6 times 3? It's about 1,000 pages, okay? Easily over that. You have to do the work. If you don't do the work, you can't get the result. You've created this problem by becoming feminist, going to your male side, or contributing to it in this world, or some of you didn't do it, but it's happened. So you chose to go to your male side. And of course, you're tired of that work. You're overwhelmed with work. And I say work. This is work for you as opposed to working for somebody else and working for money. Working for money produces testosterone. Working for you actually will start making estrogen, and then it becomes enjoyable work. But this is the work of being a woman, learning how to be feminine. And what's the work of being a man? Learning how to be masculine. Put your feelings to the side. Do what you have to do. Don't whine and complain. Manage your anger. Take care of your feelings. Don't put it on her. Be committed. Don't cheat around. Don't do porn. This is masculinity. That's what we have to do. And we will automatically start doing that if you make us feel successful by asking for help in ways that we can easily do, but you have to explain to us how to do it. And then I have a successful job. You can see with a teenager who's just developing his caring about other people because he's going through puberty. He doesn't know anything. But when he gets a girlfriend, he starts wearing cologne. At least he starts dressing up. You can see women bring out the best in men. They make them want to be better. But when you're not doing your work, men do not want to be better. It's just a consequence of that. Don't go looking at your husband saying, oh, he needs to change. Oh, he's not working out. His diet is bad. He's not doing these things. Back off. He's who he is. And you're going, but if he doesn't change, I can't get what I want. You have to know what you really need most. What you need most today, for women today, when they're stressed, you're wanting more from a man. Stop wanting more from a man. Want more from yourself. Learn how to process your emotions and not let stress bring you down. You can do that without a man. That's why this book is Be Happy With or Without a Man. First, you got to learn how to be happy without depending on a man, and then look to a man to be happier. And when you can start looking at yourself, take responsibility for yourself, then you can apply techniques in this book where even when you are stressed, how you can use him to lower your stress. But it's never just the man. You've also got to have other women in your life. You also have to do the work within yourself. You also have to educate yourself. You also have some source of authority in your life that you believe in. Okay, so you have to have like somebody knows more than you. These are like basic needs. That's why I read other books. I read science and research, learn from people who know more than me about certain things. If you don't have, and then you have a higher source, that's the ultimate, that's what I do every day. I used to do hours and hours and hours. I don't because I'm always in a meditative state, but I'll still just do like an hour of meditation where I'm just blessing, sending positive energy to all of you, to the people who read my books. I don't send it to everybody, by the way. I send it to the people who read my books because I have more feeling for that. Thank you. I'm grateful. It's real, to the whole world. I wish the world, I'm a beauty queen. Yes, I wish for world peace. Okay. But the people I have a relationship with, that's where you have the biggest impact. And of course, I do my friends, I do the people I work with, I do my children. These are like the most important people to me. So I say blessings. Oh, Ken wants to say something. Oh, Carol. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yeah, Karen. That was so wonderful. I so much enjoyed your presentation. Listen, you can go to the Hero Within 23. Karen is like an authority on Mars Venus stuff, and she integrates other things into it. She gave a brilliant presentation. I just want to acknowledge that. So women can help motivate men to be men to want to be better. Absolutely. Women, it's in your genes. When I say the biggest mistake women make, and Men Are From Mars, a whole chapter on that, is the Home Improvement Committee. When she gets in a house, she wants to make it better, and she can make it better. Men can build a house, but it's a woman who makes it a home. She improves it. Okay, this is her beauty. She sees beauty. She sees what's wrong. Improving is her thing with her children, how to create the best space for your children to be the best they can be. And so they want to improve a man. They just don't understand that the way you improve a man is to create the opportunity for him to help you. That's how you help a man. That's how you improve a man. Is you don't directly tell him to change in any way. You create a space for him to do something for you that makes you feel happy and more fulfilled. And of course, then what women do is, what you could do, husband, is just change. So you have to that's not creating the space for him to be himself and do something for you. So you have to inform him of the most important things. And what I've done for you here is pointing out the most important thing that women need today is to be, thank you, Tess, is to create this space for a man to help you come back to your female side, which means help you be happy without him having to change. You see, when I'm a good listener for my wife, the Hero Within Karen says, thank you, John and Ken. I appreciate your shout out. Oh, she's amazing. This woman is so together. If you want to talk to a woman about relationships, she's great. And I should also mention, I don't want to also just mention just Karen. We have a whole company of Mars Venus coaches who do this for a living. and they're not nearly as expensive as me, and they know just as much as me. They're learning from me. The difference is they may not be the ideal example. To be a Mars Venus coach, you don't have to be an example. I'm an example. I live what I teach. I spent 40 years doing this, so I resonate with it. But a Mars Venus coach, they spent a lot of training with me. And in the training with me, they can guide you according to the message that I have. And they're living it, but they're not necessarily perfect. You don't have to be perfect to coach somebody. What you have to do is have the insights to guide someone. And they're fantastic. And sometimes people don't want to be a coach because they compare themselves to me. My wife does that as well. Okay, she's a Mars Venus coach, and she was also a teacher in her own right as a relationship person. Then she studied Mars Venus, and that's how I met her. Well, she will sit with me, and I'm watching my talks, right? So I'm giving my talks, and I watch them. I want to hear what I have to say, and I want to see. I get insights that I didn't finish certain things and what's most important and how to correct myself, make my message better. So I watch my videos that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And she wants to come be with me. She says, I want to be close to you, but I can't be close to you when you're watching the videos because I always feel like inadequate compared to you because I'm the source of this. I'm the source. It comes out, and it comes out fresh, and it comes out new. You can't compare yourselves to that. She's an amazing teacher. She counsels people. She changes people's lives. And so do all of our Mars Venus coaches are amazing, and people can get that coaching. Her specialty is for Chinese people because she also speaks Chinese. So if you're Chinese and you want better relationships, you should go to share@marsvenus.com and say, I want coaching from John's wife. She's the best if you speak Chinese. She's amazing. Because you'll come back to the 5 hidden enemies of passion. We talked about first, prolactin. It's inevitable. You have to, then to solve that problem, you need to create polarity. Now, some people might solve the problem of prolactin, which is lack of attraction, by going to do porn. That's going to kill your passion. That's all can combine with polarity, with prolactin, because that's what men will do often when they can't feel attracted to their partners. They're either going to cheat on their partners to feel alive, or not because they don't love their partner. They can love their partner, but remember, love produces prolactin, and prolactin can kill your passion. So I want to feel my passion. So a man would go to do porn. A man would go to cheating on his wife. A man would have what is it called? A mistress. They've always been here all around. Mistresses have been there throughout history. In France, it's very accepted to have a mistress. There's a story in my life, I'll share it, which was an amazing story. I think it's a great one. Oh, do I take Tonkat Ali? It's good to balance hormones for menopause. Without a doubt, Tonkat Ali is good to produce testosterone. I don't know if it's good for women. I know it's good for men. When I was 50, I was taking Tonkat Ali. That's back when I had Parkinson's, early stage Parkinson's, and I was out of balance, okay? I can go into why that is, but I was just going to give you another story of my mother, which was at my father's funeral. I was there, my mother was there, my brothers were all there, and 7 kids, mom, and then I saw this girl there who looked just like my sister, and I asked her where she lived, and she lived in a town 3 hours away. And I said, well, why are you at my dad's funeral? And she says, oh, your dad was always so nice to my family. He was so nice to my mother, to me. I said, really? Well, what did he do? Well, he bought me a car. He paid for my college. Well, that's great. So I went to my mother. I said, Mom, I think we have another family member here. She said, oh, what, John? And I said, well, there's a girl here. It looks like she could be my sister from another mother. And my mother says, I've always suspected that your father had other responsibilities. Then I said, well, does that upset you or whatever? She said, John, I'm in a different generation from you. If a husband was able to provide for his family, then as long as he didn't take away from the family his responsibility for the family, if he had a mistress on the side, as long as it didn't embarrass me, that's okay. That's what men do. So that was a generation. I got to experience it right from my mother. Now, if she'd been in this younger generation and you find out that, well, not at a funeral because he's already gone, you might be so hurt, you might be so devastated, whatever, as opposed to understanding that she didn't give me all the details, but I understand she went into menopause. And like so many women who go into menopause, their sex drive drops. They make estrone. They stop making estradiol. You can't have a strong sex drive or even enjoy sex if you're not making estradiol. And for the majority of women, when they go through menopause, they stop making estradiol and instead they make estrone. And estrone is called weak estrogen. And I was looking it up just today of other things that cause estrone because I know that a lot of women don't have lubrication, they're not interested in sex, and they're not going through menopause. And what I found out with the research is that at any age, a woman can make estrone because she's no longer making estradiol. And one of the symptoms of that is overweight. Is when women stop making estradiol, their body will start to produce more fat. And no matter how much you diet, no matter what you do, your body produces more fat. Why does it produce more fat? Because the only way it can make estrone and maybe some estradiol to keep you young is with fat. So your body keeps putting on fat because basically your body needs to make estrone and estradiol. So if you're not getting the relationship support, I'll throw in here something which is radical, and forgive me, but it's what is known in Taoism. Okay, this is Chinese, 5,000-year-old Chinese medicine system. And in my studying that, and this is what I heard in China. See, they have this understanding of acupuncture and the meridians in the body, the energy flows in the body, and they put little needles in places, and that will bring awareness to these blocks in the body. And as awareness goes to that, while you feel some pain, then the brain can recognize it. But that's why you need needles. You have to feel something there. So the acupuncturist knows about 20, there's 2,000 points. A good acupuncturist from China knows the 2,000 points, and he knows all your problems are linked to one of those blockages or several of those blockages, and they'll put needles in those places. Most acupuncturists would just use the 20 most important ones according to symptoms. But what a real acupuncturist will do is do pulse analysis. They'll feel your pulses, all these different pulses inside, and that will give them the understanding of where the blocks are, and they'll know exactly where to put those pins. Well, what are we doing? We're doing emotional acupuncture in my techniques in my book for women only, which is doing the feeling process with doing the Mars-Venus app. It's literally emotional acupuncture. It's pointing out to you where you're feeling the pain. See, all negative emotions are pain points. And so if you become aware of where you're feeling the pain emotionally, the brain can now let it go. But in acupuncture, you don't just put one pin in. You've got to find all of the spots. And basically, when it comes to our emotional intelligence, there's 12 spots, basically. There's also others, if I expand it, but those 12 spots, it's like the 20 good acupuncture points. Those 12 spots, even 4, that's anger, sadness, fear, and regret. Just those 4 have a profound effect on today's challenges because those points that bring you back to that process your negative feminine energy. And for a man, whenever you're triggered, whenever you're upset, when you're angry, you're having negative female energy. You're not in your masculinity. For men that don't know this, you have to know that when you're ever angry, men are irritated or annoyed or mad, any of that stuff, if you measure your hormones, your testosterone's going down, your estrogen's going up. You're feminizing yourself. And the worst thing you can do at that time is to talk. Because if you talking and sharing feelings, or expressing yourself when you're feeling stress, will only increase more estrogen. That's why it's good for women to talk. Emotional acupuncture with Mars-Venus app. Thank you. That's nice. Thank you, Karen. So when we have the processing, you're processing your emotions. If you're a woman, you're basically making estradiol, okay? As opposed to if you're overweight, you're making estrone. Your body is trying to make estradiol from weight rather than, because it's trying to balance. You need estradiol to make babies. And then after menopause, then there's a whole show on that. Last week we did a show on menopause. But basically, then once you can't make babies, your body doesn't automatically make the estradiol. It just makes estrone, and all these health problems start going down at that point. And certainly the attraction to a man goes away. To feel a man's attraction, you need to have estradiol. So let's look at our list. That all comes under prolactin and polarity. So let's look at another one of the 5 hidden enemies of passion. Habituation, familiarity, routine, sameness, same woman, same man, habituation, same house, same location, same food, same shower shampoo, whatever it is. Everything is, once you get routine and habit of relating to your partner, what happens is the passion goes away. How do you break habituation? You break habituation by doing new and different things. That's called going out on a date. The habituation is all the time in a relationship, a woman is reciprocating whatever she thinks a man's giving to her, she's reciprocating. And for the dysfunctional woman, in order to get him to reciprocate, she will do what he wants him to do. Okay, she'll give more to him, so he'll give more to her. That kills the passion. You cannot, if you're a woman, reciprocation is essential. Every cell in your body wants equality in a relationship. So the way you create equality is based on what I receive, that's what I give. Based on what I receive, that's what I give. So that's what I'm teaching you, women, is stop doing things for men. Stop sacrificing for men. Anytime you say you've sacrificed, you've just killed the passion. Anytime a man sacrifices, he increases the passion as long as he has a positive attitude about it. If he's on his female side, then he has this negative attitude that women live in, many women do, of I sacrifice for you, I sacrifice for you. And how would you know that's going on inside of you? Because you have this thing called resentment. And whenever you're not open and receiving a man, you're resenting him, because what women do is they ruminate in their brain. Our research shows that, and they constantly hold back. I'm doing for him, he's not doing for me. I did this, he didn't do that for me. I'm so virtuous, I did this, he didn't do that for me. He didn't do that for you because you're resenting him. You have to create this space to receive. If you're not receiving, then it's you. Do you deserve to receive? Absolutely. But we all get what we deserve. We put it out. If we put out the wrong thing, we get the wrong thing back. Now, when I say that, it's a tough thing to swallow. We get what we deserve. But it becomes easier when you realize that everything that happens to you, which is bad, is actually good. Why is it good? Because it's a challenge for us to grow. So a popular meme going around that I like very much, I agree with it, which is that life is not ever against you. Life is for you. God is never against you. God's never punishing you. There is no hell. God is never punishing you. God is for you. God gives you opportunities to learn how to love. You can't learn how to love unless you have situations that are difficult to love. God gives you challenges to love yourself. Don't you want to love yourself more and more and more? Don't you want to think what a wonderful person you are? Well, you grew up in this world and your parents judged you. They said you should be better. You should be punished if you don't get. You're crying. Well, you should get over your crying. Why? What's wrong with you? Why are you making straight A's? Why are you doing this? Why are you such a mess? Why aren't you helping me? You should do what I say. All that is just one big message that you're not good enough. Okay, so you got it. So now how do you learn to be good enough? That's your challenge. Well, you have to be in situations where you're not good enough and you have to forgive yourself, and then you have to grow from that. All you need is a little step, a little step, a little step, and you'll feel good about yourself. It's loving yourself. So we get challenges, you know, when if you're a woman and your husband's in his cave, always you're triggered. Does he love me? Does he not love me? Am I worthy? Do I deserve love? I deserve love. If you're angry and you deserve love, it's because a part of you feels unworthy of love. If you actually feel worthy of love, then somebody doesn't respect you, you go, well, that's their problem. That's their problem. If you're in touch with love and your partner does something wrong, well, they're not perfect. And your brain can go right into, well, they make that mistake, but look at the good they do. So my team has to remember, I want to do the 12 ways the brain becomes hijacked under stress. I was almost going to do that today, the 12 ways the brain becomes hijacked under stress. I'll give you one example of it, which is my partner did this awful thing. They didn't tell me. They spent some money and they didn't tell me about it. Well, why didn't he tell me? Why didn't he tell me? He should discuss it with me. Well, I can give you the quick answer. It's because if he told you, you tell him, you can't do that. I'm so upset. How would you think of doing that? I feel so betrayed. I feel so cheated. I do all for you. I sacrifice for you, and you want to do something for yourself. How dare you? Okay, so that's what he's expecting to get. So he's going to try and figure out how to do it, but he's going to plan to do what he wants to do for himself, but he can't tell her. Oh, I wanted to read that last one. I'm sorry. I like that, what she was saying. Ozzy Osbourne saying, when you learn how to love, you forget how to hate. Wow. That's a good line. That's a really, really good line. When you learn how to love, you forget how to hate. Now, let me comment on that. When you actually learn how to love, then you'll feel stronger hate than you ever have done before, because it's safer to feel hate, because we all have hate. Hate is in our collective consciousness. Hate should be expressed. We shouldn't act on hate, but hate is a part of who we are as human beings, is that when we're not being loved as children, we have this stored belief system, which is that when we don't feel safe and we don't feel loved, then we'll hate. But then when you do feel loved, you'll have PTSD. What awakens PTSD, which brings up the unresolved feelings from the past, is now I feel loved, I feel loving, eventually in that place of safety opening up, and then your stuff will come up. And of course, that's one of the 5 hidden causes of passion, which is safety. Okay, and that is, we're talking about habituation. Everything's smooth, everything's fine. You do what you do, I do what I do. We all love each other. Love brings up everything unlike itself. Love brings up PTSD. And what is the trauma? We know PTSD now because soldiers are in battle. They're experiencing trauma. They're experiencing terror. They're experiencing addiction. They're experiencing discomfort and pain and suffering. Okay, so that's just too much for the brain to handle. So the brain represses it. And then what happens is you come back into safety where you're not under fire, where you're not feeling attacked. Your stuff's going to come up. It just comes back. So can you escape your stuff? No. Either bad things happen to you and you feel your stuff, or good things happen to you and your stuff from the past comes up. Both situations is training you how to be an enlightened, loving person, which is to take responsibility for the emotions that you feel inside. And for men particularly, if they are feeling the emotions and they're suffering, then they're on their female side and they need to learn how to process their feelings. But many times men are not on their female side. They go right to their male side. They go right to their cave to disconnect with their emotions. And then they come back to feeling their love again. They're not like women. And then there strengthens their male side if they can strengthen their male side. So particularly for men, my focus always is on not trying to heal your childhood and your process and your self-improvement. Change your behavior. Do something differently. Understand women differently. Have compassion for women. They're suffering. They're like little children crying out, irrational. Now, when I say irrational, women, you under stress are irrational. That is a proven fact. If you're producing stress hormones, your brain is not rational. Blood flow stops to the logical part of your brain. It goes to the pessimistic part of your brain. It goes to the part of your brain that can't see what you have, can't be grateful for what you can't appreciate what you have. So that is just one of the 12 ways the brain is hijacked. We'll have to do a whole talk on the 12, but one hijacked of your brain is, yeah, he's a good provider, but he doesn't help me with housework at all. Okay, done. So you can't appreciate he's a good provider. It's like not enough. So what do you do when you see your brain has been hijacked? Oh, he washed the dishes, but he didn't do this one glass. Well, yeah, he doesn't get angry at me, but he leaves this stuff around the house. You focus on the negative, get upset about the little thing, and miss out on the big thing. You know, a lot of women, and this is tough. Once you feel like you can make money, he gets no credit for making money. All the hard work and the sacrifice and the effort it takes to make money, you can't appreciate him for that because you're doing it as well. So you have no compassion for his suffering. Not that I'm asking you to be compassionate about it. I want you just to appreciate what he provides for you. He's devoted to you, that he's not cheating on you, that he's overcome, he's prioritizing you, that he'll hear you. And of course, he doesn't hear you. But why doesn't he hear you? Because you don't speak his language. You're the rule. You're the one who complains about not getting what I want. If you're not getting what you want, you change you. You don't change the other person. You're responsible. I know some women can hear this easily, but some women can't. So I have to keep reminding you that you have the power. You have the power of drawing him. You can draw out the best in a man. That's the law of attraction. And what they'll say, what she'll explain in that book and what in that whole movie that was so popular and everything, is that the outer world will match your frequency. So if your frequency is one of I'm abundant and I'm loved and I have what I need and my life is unfolding, I'm a magnet for greater money, I'm a magnet for love, my partner loves me just as I am, he's always doing his best to love me. Nice positive thoughts, okay? And that's, therefore, when you resonate in that, your partner will resonate in that right away. The world takes longer to resonate with what you're putting out. But if you're in a sexual relationship with someone, they resonate right away. They resonate right away. Not immediately. So let's say, but what allows you to stay in that state is because you have wiring in your brain while you're saying all that stuff to yourself. There's a little subconscious mind that goes, yeah, but he's not changing. Yeah, but he's not aging. How long is this going to take? Why isn't he not doing this, but he's doing that? Because in order to change your wiring in your brain to be in that state authentically without having to try to be in that state, is what you have to do is look at, okay, this is what I want. I want this, I want this, I want this. This is where someone said, I want a man to love me, adore me, appreciate me. That's the most important thing in marriage. It used to be the most important thing in marriage is a man provided for you. If a man provides for you, then you will appreciate him. And if you appreciate him, then automatically you get all the love stuff. But today, that's not enough. You have to realize you have a belief system. It makes you go deeper. What keeps me from receiving love on an emotional level, on a romantic level? Because that is the most estrogen stimulating thing, and your body knows it. I need romance, I need affection, I need to be heard, I need kindness, I need tenderness, I need to be seen, I need reassurance. These are all needs that you have when his action can't automatically give that to you. The more independent you are, his independence can't give that to you. So it's new skills. And so those new skills, he doesn't know how to do them, but he's willing to do them once presented in a logical way, which is in this book, is that you have to study it. You have to learn. And, you know, you have to be humble is what it takes place, okay? To realize I've been doing my very best. You put all the love into it. There's no question women try so much harder in the relationship. But men are trying harder outside the relationship, trying to make enough money to achieve that goal. And some men aren't. And the reason they aren't is because they're shut down. Their testosterone is low. Their mothers were not there for them. Their mothers did their best. But what a little boy needs is a mother who loves her father. If you don't love the man, if your father is not a hero, a boy can't find the hero inside of him. And when he doesn't get that hero from a woman, the message is that he's the guy that makes her. So we celebrate men. We celebrate what he is for our family. And then he is devoted to you. When you make a man your hero, he will bow to you. He will give his life for you. And that's what women want. Okay, so do what it takes to get what you want. Be. It's not even doing. It's be that person. But you need his help to be that person. So you have to use your male side to do something to get him to do for you. And that's learning how to ask, the art of asking. So that would kill the passion is when you're over there waiting for, well, when's he going to do that? Doesn't he see what I want? And if he doesn't see what you want, then you're going to go, well, then he must not love me. And my wife teaches these ideas, but she was making a joke. You know, I teach these ideas, but she was evidently in the mood for making love, and I was not in the mood. And so she was like giving subtle messages and whatever, and I was not picking them up and whatever. And she says, well, because you're not like in the mood, I feel like I'm not loved. And then I said, and she says, I know you have to be in your cave for a while. It's not a problem, whatever. But a part of me still feels deep inside that you're not hearing my signals and whatever. And she could have just said, but it's painful to say, well, let's be intimate tonight. But actually she has the words. All she has to say, and she just forgot them, is instead of like sort of looking at me and wandering around in her nightgown, it's just all she had to say is, let's cuddle in bed. That's our signal. Cuddle in bed means no expectation, no pressure. And of course, that night I wasn't in the mood at all. And I'm lying down. At first, I meditate before I go to sleep, and I laid down. All she had to do was touch me, uh, and then boom, the explosion happened. Sometimes a man needs a woman's touch, just like a woman needs a man's touch to awaken things, so to connect with her. All right, so let me keep going on the five hidden. So I did prolactin, I did polarity, which is so important. Then we do habituation. You're in your comfort zone, desire goes away. And so let's understand a little bit of habituation. See, what creates the spark between men and women is newness, okay? New and different. That's why you go and you break habits. You do something new and different on the weekend. And let's look at how to create dates. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, how do you create the best dates? Women should be responsible to know 3 things you like, and he will do that for you. He says, what do you want to do? Or you say, let's plan next weekend. Always do it way in advance. That's the best thing. And women are good at that. Men tend to be like right at the last minute. So it's up to you to be like, you have more fear, you have more emotion, you think ahead, you're always worrying about what's going to happen. So sits in your bailiwick. So you're going to say to him a week in advance, let's plan something next weekend. He says, yeah, that'd be nice. And then he'll say, what do you want to do? And often what women would say is, well, what do you want to do? Cancel. It's not about what he wants to do. That's a killer of passion. It's about what you want to do, but he's going to provide it for you as if it's his idea. Because, if women are just telling men what to do, they lose their passion. It needs to be his idea so he can take credit for what he provides. He doesn't know what you want. And it shouldn't be what he wants. That's not going to create passion for you. It should be you're special. You're getting what you need. So you're being number one. He's devoted to you. He's happy to do what you like to do, and that will make him happy. See, if you do what he likes to do, the only reason that's going to make you happy is in your mind, you think, well, if we did what he did, he wants this time, he'll do that for me next time. So you're just always negotiating, getting what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. That's romance, as men providing for women what women need and want and wish. That's romance. So some women will say, yeah, but I want to do for him. The only reason you want to do for him and you feel romantic is in your mind, you're thinking that I'll make him happy and then he'll want to do for me. It's always your selfishness. And there's nothing wrong with that selfishness. We all have to take care of our own needs. And we have to focus on how do we get what we need, pure selfishness. But the beauty thing about marriage is women, you can focus on your needs and be totally selfish, creating a space for him to make you happy. And that automatically makes him happy. So your selfishness isn't selfishness. It's making him happy. It's giving him love. You can't feel love in your heart. Have it be fully authentic instead of imaginary. Fully authentic, he actually does something for you. That's going to feel love. Now, I know it feels like love if he's sick and you're taking care of him, or if he has a problem and you're feeling sorry for him and you're listening to him. I know it feels like love, but you're treating him like a child. So it's like different kinds of love. There's the love where you feel cared for, and there's the love you feel when you're caring for someone. It's okay to do that if you're actually feeling already, I'm fully cared for, I'm getting everything I want, I have no complaints, then I can care for my husband. And that's why women always used to do everything in the home. They would cook for a man, they would clean a man's clothes, they would keep the house clean. They were practically ready to have sex with him anytime he was interested. Now, why do I say that? I just have to go to my own experience of going to indigenous tribes where men are doing masculine things all day and women are doing feminine things all day with other women. They have a lot of sex. There's no issue with sex. She's ready and willing if he shows any interest, and she'll show interest in all kinds of ways. She's responsive to him because her estrogen is so high. So on the practical level, the whole thing about polarity is when you don't have polarity, there's no attraction. And then what creates polarity is his testosterone is strong, her estrogen is the right balance. And that estrogen is what men connect with when they make love to you and they have sex with you. His estrogen goes up, but his testosterone's also up. It'd be like a man having sex with you, but he has no erection. Then it's not testosterone going up, estrogen going up. Now, having said that, I want to always mention that some men can't get an erection. It doesn't mean you can't have sex. And it can be also biological things in his body that keep him have erections. Most of the time, though, it is a lack of testosterone. And what you can do to raise his testosterone, if you're in the mood for sex, you don't have to not do it. Just have him do you with his hands, with his tongue, with his mouth, kissing, touching, all that stuff, turning you on without any expectation of needing him to have intercourse. Because you can be satisfied with clitoral stimulation, fingers in the vagina, all this different stuff, G-spot stimulation is very stimulating. But what you don't know is that when he can do that for you, that will raise his testosterone, and then eventually it comes back. You know, I did the thing with Dave Asprey, and he announced, he always does little flashes before the show. Many people do highlights of the show. It takes me out of context, but so I'm 74 and I just had an hour of sex with my wife, okay? And he's amazed by that. And it just happened that day I was having an hour of sex before the show. I'm not having an hour of sex every time. I'm not having an hour of sex every day, but it's very quite frequent without question. So we've got prolactin, polarity, habituation is routine sets in. When something repeats over and over and over, then your brain expects it. When your brain expects it, then it doesn't produce dopamine. And dopamine gives you that spark. That spark of dopamine, the reason that works for passion is that it creates polarity. When the dopamine is produced, newness, different experiences, as opposed to routine, the newness, the new challenge stimulates dopamine. And that will raise estrogen in women, raise testosterone in men. And that polarity is what creates the spark. So comfort zone really kills passion. And what you need is to get out of the comfort zone. And the way you get out of the comfort zone on a daily basis or every other day, you know, there's the 5-finger ask that you learn about in my book, you know, that always kicks a man right out of his comfort zone, lets him do something within 5 minutes, within 2 minutes. And it's unexpected, it's not repeated, it's not habituated, it's something new and different that he can do for her in a short period of time. And she has to ask for it, because if she doesn't ask for it, she's not experiencing the risk it takes to ask. The risk it takes to ask actually produces cortisol. You want a quick burst of cortisol, which raises her testosterone, and his quick response converts that testosterone into a surge of estrogen. Nothing more powerful other than talking about your feelings that you wouldn't share with anybody else. That also produces stress. To reveal something inside yourself that you normally would not share with other people makes him special. And as long as he knows how to deal with it. And of course, the Venus talk is all the rules that go along with the Venus talk. Whatever you think a communication is not going to work. It's what women do. They blame men. They go on and on and on. They don't give them a time limit. You got to say it's going to be 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about problems and my feelings, and you don't have to say anything, do anything. It's such a powerful tool. But don't take it from what I just explained. There's a whole chapter on how you have to explain this to him so he'll do it, and he'll do it really well. And you have to be the one who accepts it. If you don't take this step, I can say to men, just listen to your wife. And they listen, and you say, well, what are you feeling? And you should feel. And why are you saying that? You have to be able to tell him what's expected of him, and then he can provide this. But what happens anytime you reveal emotion, your estrogen will go up, your brain becomes plastic, and your brain starts gradually changing where things don't upset you very much. And then you'll feel safer, and then you'll be triggered, and things will come up, and you'll know how to process it better and better until when you're triggered, it takes a few minutes and you're done with it. But triggers happen. I got triggered the other day for 10 minutes. That was it. And all I had to do was not talk, and it was gone. And also my wife, very smartly, she noticed I triggered, and she said, and she did some self-reflection. I wonder what I said or did that triggered him. And she came back to me and she apologized. I'm telling you, women, apology saves marriages. Saves marriages. It's just women learning. See, the thing you do is you always blame men. To take away men feeling blame, apologize, blame yourself in your presence of him. And basically, I'm so sorry I was triggered. I shouldn't have talked to you. That's it. That's your number one thing, is when a man says, when a man gets triggered by you, it's always you were triggered first. And that's what had happened. And we were having this meeting and with somebody else, and she got triggered because she was feeling insecure, whatever, and said something to me. And well, let me talk. Well, let me talk. And always I say, sure, go right ahead. But because she was triggered when she said, let me talk, I'm always happy for her to talk. Are you kidding? I know I get points for that. So she says, you talk too much. Let me talk. And I said, I get it. But because she was triggered means I don't trust you. You're not there for me. I can't feel safe with you. So it's just like a slap. It caused me to be triggered. But wisely, what I did is didn't talk. I just said, okay, I get it. Go right ahead, talk. It's good. And yet, and say less, say less. And then I basically said, I need to do some work on the computer, did some work on the computer. Then I was relaxing after dinner, and she came, I realized, I was triggered today, and I know that must have pushed you away, and I'm so sorry. I was just feeling stressed. It's enough. I was triggered, and that triggered you. I get it. See, I understand it, as opposed to, why are you not talking to me? Why are you triggered? Why did you pull away? No, just own, I was triggered. And I will always admit, if ever I get triggered, I just say, I was triggered. But see, if a man says, I'm triggered, what a woman would do is, why? Why are you triggered? What are you feeling? And if you step into what you're feeling or what she said that made you feel triggered, now you're in an argument where she has to justify and explain herself and everything like that. It just keeps it simple. Triggered means I'm having a reaction to you, and 10% of it has to do with you, so it's not that big of a deal. 90% of my reaction is something that has nothing to do with you, but has more to do with my past. Then a man can hear it. I give you the example when I talked all about triggers, a whole show on that. But your trigger means without being triggered, you're walking around, your body's healthy. I can come along, pat your shoulder. Hey, how you doing? Okay. But when you're triggered, it's like a wound emerges under your shirt, and you come up and go, hey, how you doing? You give a little pat. Oh, how did you do that? You hurt me. Anytime, women, you feel hurt, you're triggered. Trigger is emotions that come from your amygdala, your childhood, programmed in from childhood. This is what's current in the present time. Back here, and what are the emotions of back here? I'm scared, I'm hurt, I'm mad, I feel bad. Those are the emotions of back here. So when you have those emotions, don't talk to your partner. You can't. He can't hear you. It should never happen. And if you do, he's going to get triggered, then get out of the room. How do you manage a man's anger? Because he'll get angry. If you get him to talk, don't get him to talk. Create some time apart, then come back. If you want a loving relationship, just go and say, I'm so sorry, I was triggered and I started talking. I know that's hard for you, triggers you as well. So I let it go. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Oh, that's really humble. Please forgive me. Always you ask a man, please forgive me. He'll forgive you right away. See, women, you don't ask for forgiveness because you're so hard to give forgiveness. You're so full of blame when you're triggered, not when you're not triggered. I mean, women are the angels of the world. There's no question about it. This is why I see that women have the power to transform men. Otherwise, men, they become unloving. They become passive. They lose their power. Women can have power, but no love. If you have love, then you can have a relationship and you can feel power as well. You can have both. You can have both, but you have to learn how to use a man to come back to your female side. And passion is the symptom, attraction is the symptom of having hormonal balance, of polarity, and breaking the habituation with the date. And so what you do for creating the date is you're with your husband and you say, honey, next week we should do something. Here's 3 things I'd like to do. Would you pick? And he'll pick from them. And then he'll take credit for doing that, as opposed to this weekend I want to go to what do we have here? To the county fair picnic. I want to go to the county fair picnic. Okay. And so he says, okay, we'll go do that. Now he's just passive. You say, let's go to this weekend. I'd like to do county fair picnic, or I'd like to go visit my relatives, so-and-so, and I'd like to climb the mountain like we used to do a long time ago. Okay. You pick. Then he gets to pick. And when he picks and you have a good time, the whole time he's going, yeah, I picked this. I deserve this. I own this. I own this success of this moment. That raises testosterone. If you just tell him what to do, no testosterone. He's just following orders. So even though he puts some effort into it, maybe a little testosterone, but so much better for you to articulate what you would like. It's always coming back to women learning how to communicate what their needs are, wishes are, in a way that doesn't blame men. Why did women not learn this technique? Because culture already set it up so you didn't have to ask for more. You didn't have sex with him until you knew he could give you what you wanted. So you never have to ask for more. And then if he actually did the things men used to do, and women did the things women used to do, if he was successful at doing those things, you wouldn't need to complain. You'd be happy and you'd be fulfilled because you'd be getting what you need because you knew what you needed. But because we become more civilized, the world's a safer place. Women are more independent. What happens is our survival is no longer our major need. And so we end up doing what happens, according to Maslow, first brought this idea out, is when your basic needs for survival and security are met, now you have new needs. You got to identify those needs. And the most important thing for women today is I need help. That's it. I need help. What help? You needed help all along the way. So you haven't changed. You need help. It's just a higher level of help. And the help I need is to educate myself so I can be independent. That's good help. Also, the help I need is romantic help. Help to help me lower stress, empathy, compassion. And empathy is not really the word. I just threw it in there because women say it. It's what women need is compassion. Men can't give you the empathy that other women can give you. So stop thinking about that. It's not even possible. You can look at a man's brain function when a woman is when she's vulnerable and she's not blaming him even, and she's sharing her feelings. His empathy, if you look at the blood flow in his brain, is half of what it would be from another woman. But with a man, what happens is he feels that little bit of empathy, but it's actually compassion because blood flow also goes to the prefrontal cortex where he's thinking about what I can do to solve your problem, how I can save the day. And another part of his brain becomes activated that increases dopamine to increase his motivation. What motivates women is a woman in distress that he can solve. That's it. You need stress in your life. It just needs to be stress that he can help you overcome. And there's certain stresses in your life that he can't help you overcome. Because if you're missing the support of other women and the other forms of love that you need in your life, including loving yourself, he's powerless. So always, if a couple's coming to my workshop, sometimes they'll come to my workshops in the past, and they say, we both can't come. One of us has to stay home with the child. Who should it be? Because the husband can be there, the child can be there. I always say, the woman should come. The woman should come. Women have the power to change who they are, and that automatically is mirrored in a man if she applies the skills to let him know how to express the love that's in his heart. But it's through women that open our mirror neurons that allow us to feel the love in our heart. And that only happens when women feel need for a man without blame. So blame, of course, is one of the hidden enemies of passion. There's no question about it. So let's look at where a lot of the blame comes from. This is so great. You always remind me of what I need to do to help my relationship. I need help. Hey, good for you. I need help. He's the guy. He's the guy. I have the power. Okay, so here's number 4. So I'm going to use a new word, and I'd like to know if it's a good word to use or not. But I heard a woman use this the other day. We were having lunch, and she was talking, and she used the word gunny sacking. Okay, now what I would say is suppressed feelings. I'm more on the psychological side of it, but evidently gunny sacking is a word. So that would be, gunny sacking is going to be one of the 5 hidden enemies of romance or of passion. Now, what is gunny sacking? I'll define it as basically you have emotions inside and you don't feel them. You push them down. It's just a mechanism. You rationalize it, you push it away, and it goes out of your conscious awareness. Yeah, but it's not appropriate to share it. Yeah, but I can't talk about it. Yeah, but it's not, I'm busy working and I'm frustrated, but I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to push it down. I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to take time to feel it, identify it, what else is going on. So we're going to call that gunny sacking. That is a big killer. Now, why is this so, again, for women to understand this and for men to understand it as well, so you can understand why your wife is having a difficult time in this world. Because let's say she's in the workplace. Now, we already know the workplace, it produces adrenaline. And it also, you have to be more independent in the workplace. You can't always share your feelings or depend on somebody else or ask for help. Part of competence, you want to earn your competence, is look what I can do myself. So when a woman's in that place of look what I can do myself, she's making a lot of testosterone. And when she's making a lot of testosterone, she's not feeling I have help and I have support and I can share my feelings and get help and support, that I can ask for help and get it. So when she's not feeling that, she's not trusting that she has support, that's just the normal stress of the day. That's adrenaline. Gunny sacking, a toxic conflict resolution tactic involving the silent accumulation of grievances, irritations, and complaints over time, rather than addressing them when they occur. What a great definition. You see, women are designed to gunny sack. Men, unless they're feminized, don't gunny sack at all. You see, when testosterone goes up, and men have all these rationalizations to allow testosterone to go up and disconnect with their emotions. And that's good for him at that time because that's what men have to do. That's such a great phrase. So also keep letting me know in your comments if that word will resonate with most people. But wow, I would have put that definition up on a slide. I think that was so good. Thank you for that, whoever sent that in. A toxic conflict resolution. Oh, oh, that was, see, Ken just came in and told me he did that. See, that's a man, okay? I want credit for that. Okay, that's right. Give me credit. Give me credit. See, and I do. I'm so glad. That was really I'm sure you got that from chat, right? Google. Okay, so Google did it. That's good. Uh, but doesn't take away from you. You're the one who did it. Thank you. So, gunny sacking. So, how many people? Give me some numbers here, and I'm going to look over this. But if that word works for you, give me a one and give me a zero if it doesn't. Yes, I think gunny sacking was the term used by transactional analysis, TA. Right, that was a big thing in the past. So before that was basically psychology. Before that was good definition of gunny sacking. Good. So who gunny sacks the most? If a man is on his way on his female side, even then he doesn't gunny sack that much. It will come out very quickly. When women are in the workplace, we're going to look at the brain scans for a moment. Definitely resonates with me. Thank you for that. What happens with gunny sacking is women are in a place where they're making testosterone. What makes testosterone is ignoring your emotions. But for women under moderate stress, they will produce way more blood flow to the emotional part of the brain. And men will decrease blood flow to the emotional part of the brain. And I'll add to it even more, which is why I say women get a little crazy. Maybe I should always say irrational, but the reason I say a little crazy is because that's what men think. And then I explain that why that happens. And here's what it is. Just under moderate stress, consistent and moderate stress, what will happen for women, they measure in the brain scans. For men, they become less emotional, so they're not suppressing. They're just not making emotions because their logic side is saying there's nothing to worry about. There's no big deal. I can handle this. I can solve this. Or if I can't solve this, I can forget it because there's nothing I can do about it. See, these are all really good adaptations for men to deal with stress. I solve it. If I can't solve it, it's not my problem because you can't do anything about it. Let it go. We can let it go. Women cannot. They have this thing called rumination. It goes over and over and over. And they have this thing called gunny sacking, which is when they're on their male side and they're in a responsible role, you have to be responsible, you have to be logical, you have to be goal-oriented. These are all testosterone-producing things. And so when your blood flow under moderate stress starts going to the emotional part of the brain, also, the research shows this. It's not me being a sexist. This is actually the research saying that blood flow stops or decreases from the logical part of the brain. So this is what adrenaline does. When you experience adrenaline, what's going to happen is blood flow leaves the logical part of the brain, which could say, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's not a problem. I don't have to do anything about it. Well, I don't have time for it, so let it go. I'm more important. Okay, these are all logical ways of coping with stress. So you don't have stress. What happens is when women start to experience no support in my life, then what occurs is that adrenaline gets produced, danger, and I don't have enough support. Okay, so or even danger with support. This is what the brain is saying. Even in an adrenaline is not cortisol. Cortisol, I made a mistake there. So cortisol is danger, and I have no help, so I have to do it myself. That's cortisol. Adrenaline is a moderate level of stress that we all live in, and that is the daily danger. Even driving your car is dangerous. So how should a woman get rid of resentment? All right, we'll get to that. So when you have danger, when you have danger, but you feel I have help. Okay, so it's not like I don't have help. If I don't have any help, I have to be a man. Go to my male side. So if I have help and I trust that I have help, that's adrenaline, okay? So things are not so bleak. I have help. So if I have help, I'm not all alone. I don't have to do it all myself. That's adrenaline. But even when there's adrenaline, blood flow decreases to the logical part of the brain and goes to the emotional part of the brain. Why does it do that? Because in order to lower adrenaline, she needs to feel and experience talking about what she feels so that she can get support. It reaffirms that I have support. If she can talk about what she feels, then it doesn't go into or ask for help. If she can talk about what she feels or ask for help at times of adrenaline where she feels part of a team. And thank you, business world, for emphasizing teamwork. This is a very important thing, particularly for women, to feel included in part of a team, that she has help. But the higher you go up on the spectrum, the more responsible you are. And you don't have help. You have to be making these decisions. And so it causes more stress for women because you go way to your male side as opposed to I'm part of a team. But even in part of a team, when there's danger, that's adrenaline, what will happen is blood flow decreases to the logical part of the brain, goes to the emotional part of the brain. Why is that? Because what the body needs is more estrogen, and estrogen will get produced in two primary ways. Get help, one way, get help to hear what I'm feeling, because if I'm in danger, I want to be able to know that other people, what's going on, so they can help me. So that's why talking about feelings is so important. And you don't always have to talk about feelings. You can anticipate later today talking about feelings and your body will relax. But when you feel like I'm working, I can't share my feelings, I come home to my husband and I can't share my feelings, then what happens is your feelings get gunny sacked. They get pushed down. Feelings about work, feelings about life, feelings about you, feelings about the weather, feelings about politics, and feelings about your partner. However, once you gunny sack, once you put down your grievances, once you push down your suppressed emotions, the things that are hiding inside of you, when you push that down, this is simple psychology. This is not just me. I'm just applying it to women, men, how we misunderstand each other. What happens for women, according to the research, is basically when you suppress your feelings about what's going on in your life that day, you will then, it's like post-traumatic stress disorder. You push it down, like in a man in battle, he pushes down real danger, terror, you push it down, and when safety emerges, it comes up. That's PTSD. I think women are experiencing PTSD every day. Every day you experience some level of PTSD. You push down your feelings during the day. That's if you have a job and that pressure to make money. Or if you're staying at home with your children, you still have this huge pressure that women have never felt before because of the financial crisis we're in right now, one. But two is that you're isolated with your child, okay? There's nobody helping you. You have to do it all yourself, as opposed to feeling the support of other women during the day. Why don't you have the support of other women during the day? Because all the other women are at work. So you're isolated. And then, so anyway, this happens whether you're, depending on a man for love or you're out there doing your own thing to be independent. It's still this basic thing of women gunny sack. They're gunny sacking all the time. That's the way they deal with staying logical. So am I saying women can't be logical? Women can be logical, but they have to gunny sack in order to be logical. And the world's requiring women to be logical, rational, time efficient, all kinds of, and strong and independent and disconnected from taking things personally. And because you can't get mad at people in the workplace, you gunny sack it, you push it down. But here's what happens. This is the big aha. When it comes home, it's PTSD. You've been pushing it down. When it comes up, it doesn't come up identifying this is the problems I had at work. You feel safe. And so when you feel safe, those feelings come up. And because you suppress them, they come up and they get projected onto him. They get projected onto, and it's called displacement. You're displacing your suppressed feelings onto your partner. So rather than blame the people at work that ignored you, you can't blame your customers. They didn't buy your product. You're frustrated with that. You put a lot of energy into it, but that's business. You let it go. You gunny sack. Well, when you come home and your husband's not listening to you, oh, he didn't listen to me, he made a decision without me. Oh, he did this without consulting me. Oh, he's trying to control me. All these complaints that women have, it's all amplified by the stress of your day. And then if everything is safe, you're still going to deal with your stuff. Your past will come up to you. The grace of God is it doesn't come up all at once, only one layer. And when you get good at dealing with that, then you get another layer, and you get good at dealing with that, and you get another level. And every time you get good at dealing with a layer of your stuff, your capacity to love increases. Your capacity to forgive increases. Your capacity to be happy increases. And as you process these feelings that come up, you may not even know this is my childhood. You just have to know that when you're triggered, your feelings are not facts. You're getting upset over things that don't deserve that much upset. And you're justifying your upset. If you don't get that you're responsible for your feelings, then what you do is you justify your feelings, and they become hardened and they become facts. You feel like, oh, I'm not being respected. I deserve respect. And now your brain is just looking at all the zeros rather than realizing your brain has been hijacked. Help, I'm stuck in a gunny sack. I really need to work on this. Well done. Today, bring up the link to the Mars Venus Heart Space app. If you would bring up that link, click that link and go and do it. It will help you. It will help you. All you see, what happens is when you're gunny sacking, only a few problems, or maybe you're projecting onto your partner problems. It's all superficial. It's all what you think is upsetting you. Then the process will show you what's really upsetting you, or at least show you the emotions that are really upsetting you. And then as you start to become accustomed to feeling your emotions, to the things that are upsetting you in present time, then you get really good at recognizing that present time doesn't deserve this much emotion. It has to do with my past. And around that time, you can actually start feeling the traumas of your past. Now, some people can feel the traumas of their past quite easily, but some people can't. I'm in the camp. I could not. I had a perfect childhood. I didn't remember anything. I just loved my parents, loved my brothers, loved everybody. And it wasn't until I've been a monk and I'm feeling like totally safe, because when you really meditate for many years, you realize there's nothing ever to be upset about. Everything is God's plan. Everything is a lesson to be taught. The universe is always for you. And it's easy to feel that way when you're a monk and you don't have to make money and you don't have to deal with a wife. You don't have to deal with your children. You have to deal with politics and taxes and property taxes. Oh my God, this property tax thing. I'll just share for another minute. Property tax is slavery. We just have to keep putting this into the collective consciousness. Our Constitution in America says the right to have your own property. You can't own property in America. You cannot own property in America. You have to pay. You buy your house, you're done with it. You're still paying a huge amount of money, more than it would be to rent that house, just to have property tax. This is insanity. This is cruelty. This is terrible. And then they even take away using property tax against your federal income. You can't write that off as an expense. This is horrible. This is like terrible. So then I have to relax after that. That was like an emotion. But see, I bounce right back. I'm so grateful I can pay those property taxes. Even though it means I can't go on a vacation, I can still live in my home and I'm still happy. You know, I hear all these people complaining they can't go on vacations. I can't go on vacation simply because I have to pay so much property tax. It's insane. I mean, anyway, and of course, if I really was upset about it, I could sell my house and buy a smaller house, and that'll be fine. But I make my choices. I love my house. I love staying put, and being here is better than a vacation. That's why the property tax is so high. It's California. California's insane place. This is the crazy place where you pay all these taxes. Everything's a tax. I looked at my bill for going over the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, that's like the rent of a house. It's just crazy. No respect at all for people and giving people a chance to be prosperous and abundant and so forth. So this is the government. If ever I really let it upset me for long, it's just a couple of minutes to say it because I like to put that in the collective consciousness. But if that really upset me, then what I would do is look at my personal life. What in my personal life is upsetting me? I'd start with that, but then I'd start looking at the personal life, because that's where you can come back to love. I'm not going to come back to loving the government in this country and come back to loving the government in California. I just don't love them, period. I'm not interested in them. I want it to change. I want a new government. I want a government that used to be there. I want the what do we have, the human rights. I want those rights, the rights for all our human rights. And we're losing them every day. So why do I be upset about that? Because I'm not a politician. If I was a politician, then that would be my thing. What I have is and even then I would, if I'm actually getting triggered, I'd know it's my personal life. I'd come back to having love in my life. And people who don't have love in their life, they can process their feelings, but you're not going to come back to being in love with this government. It doesn't deserve it. but you'd want to have people in your life, your parents, and you can always come back to loving your parents. And those who can't, that's a big issue in your life. You've got to love your parents. It doesn't mean you have to go and agree with them. It doesn't mean you have to even talk to them. But you have to have an image of somebody brought you into this world, and you imagine you're writing out your feelings when you do the feeling letter. You write it to your mother or father, imagining them being able to give you the love you needed, that they could hear you now. And then you're able to express your feelings to them or to your higher self. Okay, and that's another one is I have a higher self. So I can write my feelings to my higher self. If you believe in God, you can write your feelings to God. That's ultimately what prayer always was, is when people had that experience. So they don't have that experience anymore, and they don't believe in it anymore. So at least go with your higher potential, write to yourself. Okay, so I want to hear what this says. I have men friends, just friends, and see them tell lies to women they are hanging out with, and I don't understand it. And it doesn't make sense to me. How can I trust anyone, to be honest? Okay, so let's talk about that. When somebody comes to me for therapy, everything is in confidence. Why is it in confidence? Because they want to be able to say things that they don't fully believe. But they do, one part of them believes it, and the point of therapy is to help them come back to the part of them that doesn't believe those things, that isn't triggered by those things, isn't overreacting to those things, isn't loving. Everybody has an unloving side. And so to deal with that unloving side, you have to tell somebody, you have to express it. And at least they're expressing it to you as a friend and not at their partner. Because what they do is as they talk to you, they're able to get that out of them because they're on their female side, because they're talking to you. Man, you shouldn't be talking about your feelings to other women. You should talk to men. And I know a lot of men will say, well, men don't want to hear my stuff. I said, that's because you're so on your female side. They'll look down at you. Start being a man and process your female side privately, but not with another woman, unless she's a professional. If she's a professional coach or therapist, that's different. There's a big, long line of difference where hopefully the woman therapist isn't going to feel sorry for you and just let you get away with everything. It's ridiculous, to indulge a man's negative emotions. Yeah, you should feel that way. You should feel that way. You should feel that way. What I'll do is I'll hear it from a man, and I say, so in this situation, I want you to understand what she's going through. I want you to understand why she did that. Do you know why she said that? Do you know why she's doing that? Let's understand that. I'll hear him, but I'm not going to feel sorry for him because I know he's creating his problem because he's not doing the right stuff. What I'm going to do with the man is teach him how he's contributing to the problem and how he needs to solve the problem from his side. But so many of these things, and I do know this, if a woman is not working on herself, there's nothing he can do. There's a lot he can do to help if she's working on herself, but she has to cooperate with it. Men are born wanting to cooperate with women. It's men who live to make a woman happy. Women do not live to make a man happy unless they're codependent. And codependence is another one of the hidden causes that would go into lack of polarity. But what codependence means is that you make your partner's needs more important than your own. And you virtually do it thinking you're being loving. You're not being loving. It's not loving to make your partner's needs more than yours. If a man makes your needs more important than his without complaining about it, that's sacrifice for a noble cause. He's choosing to do it. His goal is to make you happy. And his brain goes, this is what I have to do to make her happy. I'm happy to do it because I'm choosing this goal. That's what men need: goals, testosterone, and you know what to do. He doesn't know what to do, so he flattens out. You can let him know what to do by learning how to communicate in a language that he hears. And I've given you several examples, but there's so many different examples in my book. So having said that, we're on gunny sacking, and I'm looking at my clock now. I just realized we've almost reached 2 hours. I want to finish my list, so I won't finish what I was just talking about. We're talking about so many things today. There's 5 hidden enemies of passion. I probably went over 20 today because, and why do we do this? This is so important because this is what we need in our relationships today in our chaotic world, because it's passion allows us to feel our love. See, that's what passion is you're feeling your love for someone. You want to eat them up. You want to be close to them. Women, you want to take them inside of you. Men, you want to go in there and be one with her. This is passion. And you don't feel it all the time. Then you can take that passion, you put it into your work. You can see how passionate I am. I love this. I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm trying to help all my clients. I'm praying for my people in my life, and I'm praying for myself. Attract abundance. I am attracting abundance at all time. Money flows to me like a magnet. So I give you a little technique, by the way. This is what I do now. It's a new thing I'm doing, and I'll share it with you. I mean, I've got so many tools in all my books, but really, I'm always learning and growing. I go in a meditative state, and rather than imagine getting what I want, what I do is I create two words, and I imagine actually spelling out the words, like heal Ellen. This would be one of my clients, let's say. Heal Ellen. So in my mind, I'm writing out H-E-A-L, Ellen, E-L-L-E-A-N. Heal Ellen. That's my version of creating a spell. It's really quite powerful. When you take the time just to write out the words, you're using your left brain, you're also using your right brain, and you're able to hold that in your awareness. It's quite amazing. All right, so here, okay, so I want to finish up here in 4 minutes here, and I want to get to my fifth one. So you saw how gunny sacking, when you push down your feelings, I explained why women do it way more than men. You push down your feelings, they become displaced on your partner where you feel safe. And because he's the safety in your life, even though you may not feel totally safe, he's safer than the people in the workplace. So because you feel safe with him, it all comes out on him. And that's your daily stress. That's where you have to learn Venus talks on a regular basis. You got to do the work, women. You can't just go, why does anyone know what my feelings are? You have to know what your feelings are. And the last one is this is a word, I'm becoming familiar with it. I learned a new word, which is called table stakes. Now, in poker, you could look up the definition of that one. Table stakes is the cost of entry. The cost that, you're very welcome, Carol, and looks like your husband there too. The cost of entry. This is what you should do. That's just like in poker, the table stakes are, this is the minimum. This is what you start out with. You don't get anything unless you start out with this. So what happens is men will be continuing their relationship with a woman for years and years, and her reaction to that is table stakes, table stakes. Well, you're supposed to do that. Well, you're the man. You should do that. So you get no credit for it. And of course, we have the other thing, which is habituation. You don't get credit for anything after a while anyway. But this is an attitude that particularly women have in one way, men have in another. We say, why aren't you happy? You should be happy. You should appreciate me. You should look at your life. Why aren't you the woman that you used to be? You used to be so happy, no demanding, no criticism. So, I mean, if you're not going to do that, why should I bother? So this is the basics. You should do the basics. And for women, it tends to, in my experience, comes up more with women, which is table stakes, which is the cost of entry. And first of all, let me say that women have lowered the cost of entry, and then they raise it after you're married. They have sex with you right away. And then they get married, and now they expect you to be this romantic guy and do all these things and be committed to you and everything. No, you got to respect yourself enough, women, to not have sex with somebody who can't really provide what you need when you start depending on them. So that's an awareness that women have to have. And I know women can be addicted to sex and they can get into it. And I'll tell you who has the big addiction to sex. No, I've run out of, I'm not going to give this example. I was going to do it, the Taoist example. Okay, I'll say it very quickly. In Taoism, just as men are not supposed to masturbate, women are not supposed to masturbate. And when they overstimulate the clitoris, this is the acupuncture, it overstimulates your kidneys. And when your kidneys become overstimulated, you can't process water. And so you become water fat. And you'll see that water fat on your butt and on your thighs. And some women want that, but basically that is a sign of, could be a sign of that. And you don't want that. If you don't want that, then don't do that. These are all like real things, according to not Western science, but according to ancient history. But so table stakes is where women get caught into, I'm doing this. Somebody asked about resentment. I'm doing this. He's not doing that. That's your problem if you're doing that. You're in a state of resentment. And when you're resentment, what are you feeling? You're in a stress state, your anger, your sadness, your fear, your guilt. You do your love letter. You come back to love. You come back to being a loving, non-demanding person, shoulding your partner. You should be this way. They should be them. And what you need to learn to do is love him and he needs to love you just as you are. This is what love is. And if you're not getting what you want, one of the 100% reason you're not getting what is because you do have table stakes, you do gunny sack, you habituate, you don't have polarity, and you've got prolactin. All those things is keeping you from having what you want. Not changing him, it's changing you in each of those examples for a man or for a woman. So thank you for enduring this day, which is really about taking responsibility. And for some people, that's hard to hear because they want to blame everybody else for their problems. But I thank you so much for hearing me and look forward to seeing how you share this with other people. Thank you so much. And there's the code. You can order my book right now. Just put your camera on that little box and it will come up and you can get it very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you, Rich. I forgot to thank Rich. Rich is here, the head of our coaching. And I want to thank Ken Walls. Thank you so much for having put on these wonderful talks. Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you for watching the Shades of Grey podcast with Dr. John Gray, best-selling author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And follow Dr. Gray on all social media platforms for more timeless relationship wisdom. For free tools to create deeper love and better communication, visit marsvenus.com and take Dr. Gray's free course, How to Get Everything You Want in Relationships. And don't miss next week's episode of the Shades of Grey podcast, where understanding brings us closer together.